What's up guys, csgo tips 30, continuing our Vertigo adventures, and I want to consolidate a classic A execute for this map, because from the previous video we saw VP do two different executes on the A bomb site, we saw French Frogs do some executes on the A bomb site, and other teams not so much. Energy versus E United happened as part of ECS, but that did not really have too many executes on that map. NACS lol. There was also Liquid versus Space Station, which again was a little more puggy of a feel than, execute heavy. So there wasn't really much to show you from those two demos that you haven't already seen if you saw my last video, which was tips 29, talking about, Vertigo. So anyway, let's consolidate that video in terms of A executes. We're gonna do the smoke inside the construction. So you want to stand on this line right here, find the rightmost red vertical beam, aim a little bit above it, and let go. That's going to smoke backside. Now, you can also throw a Molotov for the boost spot by aiming at the top left corner of this cloud. Imagine this cloud is a square or a rectangle. And you throw it there. If this cloud isn't here for some reason, you can find this little circle thing and aim up until you're in line with this X right here. So boom, boom, and either way, it's the same Molotov. It's gonna capture all this. Half of your Molotov is actually gonna get extinguished, but it's still gonna burn most of the boost area. So I'll show that off right now. That's a smoke. This dot up to the X. Let's wait for that smoke to land first. Throw. So that Molotov will still land. The other nade set's going to be from down here, which seems a little exposed, but that's okay if you consider the fact that not many CTs are going to be pushing here, and if they do, we can talk about that later. And you can also just have one person watching the push while this execute's about to happen. So get next to the sandbag here, left window, or left square hole at the bottom, center, and then aim down until you hit the window and throw. That's going to smoke your side hall. Then you want to throw a Molotov in the same spot, right side of these two gray squares here on the right, and in the middle between them, like that. You can aim a little bit lower, I think it's better. But regardless, it'll land there, spread to back default, and spread to this corner here. If you have an extra Molotov, you can either throw it here, in case someone wants to push that smoke, which is probably the only way you could lose here. You could also try to burn an extra Molotov for top yellow, which is up there. You just kind of look above this beam and just kind of run through it, and you should be fine. But that's going to be your classic A execute. Overall, it should look something like this. There's going to be a molly there, there's going to be a molly here. So all you really have to do is clear anyone that's past the side hall smoke, which you can very easily do, either by coming close and clearing it, or having someone come out here and swing like this while the smokes are still up, and then you get an easy plant. Small things to note, you can spam through here, just like that. Okay, so you can technically get spammed if you want to and you don't have that Molotov, but whatever. So the space station Anti-A protocol, what's called a protocol, involves smoking the ramp, the bottom ramp of A, and then throwing a Molotov for the top of construction. And I'll show you a clip of it here. So to throw the smoke, you want to hug this left wall here around where this part of the panel kind of sticks out. Aim to the right of this little dot on the floor, walk forward and jump throw. You do want to practice this a little bit because depending on how far you walk, you'll get a different result for the smoke. It could be like closer here, it could land a little farther back. Just be careful with it and practice it a little bit. To throw the Molotov, get behind this wall right here and just aim at this beam and throw. Very, you know, kind of whatever. Super general, as they say. This prevents any peek from the top of the balcony or top of the construction. If they do want to peek, they have to sit in the Molotov, and that should net you at least a trade. There is a small weakness down here, I feel like, because the Molotov spreads and doesn't like directly hit that, but I think that's okay if you pair it with some other, or at least flashes. Cirque throws a Molotov just off that beam. It's very general, super general. This is good for catching anyone that wants to push past the smoke, but again, depending on where the smoke is, this Molotov may be a little awkward. What you could do instead is aim below the next beam over and just throw it off the wall. That's going to catch anyone actually trying to peek below the construction. Pair it with some flashes, and now you can start peeking and clearing. And again, depending on where that smoke landed before, there might be a small gap for someone to stand right here and barely see over it. But hopefully the flashes will blind him, so you don't have to worry about that too much. So now let's talk about the B bomb site, which we didn't talk about at all in the last video, and we're going to only briefly mention about in this video for, I would say, two big reasons. But first, let me show you some utility that NRG throws towards the B bomb site.
Oh my.
Brezzy throws a smoke from T-spawn, which lands in the front of B site. You want to get between the staircase and the dumpster. Aim, for me, it's one crosshair above the bottom part of this railing, and then jump throw. That should land right in front of B site, just like that. This is really good if you want to put a little pressure towards B and to actually come up here and actually start peeking these angles. Ethan throws a Molotov for the back of B site, back left of B site, just like that. To throw the Molotov, hug yourself against the barrel on the staircase. If you look really closely, you're going to see a white shape here and a very thin white stripe here. So I'll let you full screen it to look at it. Now below these two white marks is a line, a horizontal line. And what you want to do is aim on the right side of the left mark on this line down here. From here, again, to jump through a Molotov, and again, for those of you that are playing 64 tick, you might have to adjust this lineup. If you force people out of this area, the cover becomes very thin and scary for any CTs trying to be around here. If the CT wants to come out here, you have to be worried about someone already up the staircase from that smoke. And you have to be worried about anyone holding the catwalk rafter thing from down here or even here. Now you'll notice that I did not mention anything at all about hitting the B bomb site or throwing an execute onto the B bomb site. And I would say there's two big reasons for this. First of all, you have the initial peak, right? If a CT wants to get aggressive and try to contest you going to the staircase, they can actually contact you around right here, straight from spawn. You know, this angle can be very awkward, and you have to fight that angle if the CTs decide they want to fight you at that angle. And if you get past here, you have to now worry about window. You can't execute B, even with the front B smoke, because you have to worry about window. While you could throw a molly here, people can still stand on the sandbag here and peek over the Molotov, so you still have to look at it anyway. And if you still have to look at the angle anyway, then what's the point of throwing the Molotov? Furthermore, any support nades that come from mid, like a flash in front of this box here, is gonna destroy you. Plus, if you throw the smoke, you don't want to push the smoke, so now you have to kind of like execute when the smoke fades, but you have to get the perfect timing because you want the smoke up when you get up here, but you want it to fade once you actually get past the staircase. And even then, you have to come on the catwalk and clear a lot of angles at once, first of all. And depending on your smokes, you might still have to clear this angle or that angle. People can push through it, you can get counter flash. It's a whole mess, and there's a lot of cover for CTs to play around. So B executes not particularly strong. Now you could argue, oh, what if we just take mid so we get control of window? How are you gonna take mid? Well, you could do that Molotov I showed off last video, right? You could get some other people to flash out. But the problem is, you're gonna eat the Molotov here. It's easier game, but it's off. Here, you could wait it out, but it's gonna be, I would say, 1 minute into the round. You're gonna have to contest mid and burn a bunch of nades. At this point, A could have been pushed if you don't have anyone watching it, and if you do have someone watching it, you're not hitting B because you're not hitting mid. So it's a very awkward dilemma that you have where there is a second bomb site on this map, but you can't take it without just like taking bad trades. This kind of leads me to the final point of the video, which is the changes I want to see, or I would like to see on this map. A is too easy to take, and it's too hard to retake because of how safe the T's can be just sitting around this ramp area, either like down here, sandbag, on this catwalk area, this like, you know, I don't know what you call this area, but this area. It's so hard. So I don't know. A bomb site needs to be changed, or the passageway to A needs to be changed so that the CTs can actually defend this bomb site. The second change I would like is for mid to be a little more contestable for the T's. If you contest mid as a T successfully, you can contest B. B site might not need to be changed. Maybe. I'm not sure. But my opinion on why B site isn't taken at all is because you can't take mid. And if you can't take mid, you can't control window. If you can't control window, it's hard to just straight up take B. If we change the mid contest area so that it revolves around this smoke, well, maybe not this exact one, but some kind of smoke here, I think would be a little healthier. If you think about cash on mid, CT smoke mid garage, and now you have to worry about boost, and you can molly boost. It's not as dominant compared to Vertigo, because Vertigo, you can just shut down anything mid, one Molotov. The one last thing that I want to see changed on this map is this forklift here outside of A. It's too strong to watch flanks, because you can ring around the Rosie here, and just play really weird angles like this and that. You can play on top of the forklift and have a huge advantage on anyone trying to flank you. It's just too strong, really what it is. It's too strong. But anyway, that's all of my rambling for this video. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we can see some meta changes on Vertigo. I almost said Mirage. Vertigo. Play Vertigo, guys. Come on. It's not that bad.